So the other aspect of Saquon Barkley's big week is his appearance that he made on the Green Light with Chris Long, in which he talked about, maybe while they're celebrating me at the Philly cheesesteak spots and I'm on the cover of the video game and I'm a Super Bowl champion and I got this new contract, maybe I won't be around here all that long.
One of my favorite plays of all time is Barry Sanders. So probably similar to that. Maybe one day, it'll be out of nowhere. I'll probably be balling and just be like, yeah, call it quits.
All right, Saquon. Is that the move? He just kind of, does he send the picture like Marshawn Lynch did where he throws the sneakers up on the telephone wires and just says, I'm out, and that's a wrap?
I mean, Barry Sanders is a very, very differently wired dude. He is so, he's just gotten comfortable with getting attention. And it still kind of pains him to get attention. I think Saquon enjoys the attention, but at the same time, he is one of them. When I say, and I'm not saying it's just because he went to Penn State. I'm saying because I've been around him since he was a kid, like early days, since his freshman year of college. He's just always been a good dude. You know how you walk away from somebody and you be like, that's just a good person. That is just a really, really, really good person.
I mean, not on this show, but in general, yeah.
I'll tell you, I be fanboying out sometimes. So I was on a visit with Man at Penn State. He was going on his official. We were on his official, and Saquon was there. He was there to talk to the guys, and he gave the whole entire team his signature sneaker the year before. And I was like, dang, I saw the sneakers in a presentation dip, around the facility. I said, y'all got any of them left? So just so happens, coincidentally, I get my sneakers. I get some Saquon Barkley sneakers, right? And then he's there. So I was like, man, you got to sign these for me. And that's last year. So I got a pair of Saquon Barkley signed sneakers the year before he goes and has basically an MVP season in the National Football League. But a lot of guys would they'd be like, I don't want to sign, I don't want to sign autographs. A lot of guys would do that. A lot of guys would not be as humble when they meet older guys, when they're around. It's just all depends on, just the personality makeup of the person. But he's always engaging. I've always said one of the best skills and best qualities a person can possess is the ability to make somebody that you don't even know feel like they've known you your entire life. And that's how Saquon is. And to anyone who's ever met him, you feel like you're important to him. And I really appreciate that more about Saquon Barkley than I do anything he's ever done on the football field. Because there's always going to be guys that can do phenomenal things on the football field. So to answer your question, he's such a good dude, and he has positioned himself so well, and there are so many people that think so highly of him that if he ever decided to just walk away from the game, it's not like he's just walking away to not have any other opportunities. There will be a plethora of things for him to be able to do, and people that will want to be associated with him and attach their brands to Saquon if he were to decide to walk away. So if he did it, it's possible he could. But I'll say this. While this team is constructed the way that they are, if all things given, if they don't change anything about what they got going on, there would be no reason for him to retire early.
Yeah, because
go ahead and just keep enjoying it.
Because the Barry Sanders decision to retire was because the organization was a mess, and he was like, "Man,
they couldn't win it, and they were close. He was getting them close. They were getting close. They just couldn't get over the hump."
Yeah, and so if you're Saquon Barkley, you're looking at this going, "Man, I could just keep stacking up." 1,500 yard seasons for as long as my body can do it, or 1,000 yard seasons. Just keep, putting the stats together. to your point on him being, which is why you go back to the decision by the Giants not to retain him, even though he wanted to be there.
The owner said it.
He fits the bill of everything you would want to build around with your organization. You drafted him.
Said it.
He had success. He's a good dude. He represents the organization well, and you let him walk to your arch rival in the division.
And I'm going to have trouble sleeping if one of our most beloved and well-liked players goes to Philly.
So it's...
And he did.
It's crazy.
And he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he should have been the MVP. And if you compare stats to him and his historic run this past season to Eric Dickerson's historic run when he broke the record, I think Saquon had a better season, man. He didn't have more rushing yards, but I think if you look at the comparisons of what their numbers were down the line, like I think Eric Dickerson had like 11 or 13 fumbles that year. Like Saquon had like 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Like that was the most glaring of the stats. And I love ED to death, so I ain't going to say too much more on that. But Saquon Barkley may have solidified a Hall of Fame campaign in one season.
Yeah, maybe.
In one season.
It's and unfortunately, it's one of those moves like Seth Greenberg, who's the college basketball analyst for ESPN. He coached at Virginia Tech. What he's going to be known for in his coaching career is the fact that he didn't offer Steph Curry a scholarship, even though Steph Curry's dad went to Virginia Tech. Joe Shane, the GM of the Giants, is going to be known for the fact that he let Saquon Barkley walk. And what made it worse is that, as you pointed out,
Jones.
And paid Daniel Jones, and on top of that, it was featured on we got to see it all on television.
We got to see it, man.
Like that's the worst part.
And at least the owner gets to say, "Dang, like I really said it." Like how do you move forward with positive trust in the person making decisions for you at the GM position when you knew in your gut this is the wrong decision? Just pay the man and let's move on. Sad thing about it is this is how this plays out, Jonas, and it plays out way too often. More often than not, the owner does break down and pay that player. But he was getting tore out the frame because they didn't have the type of players that they have in Philadelphia. So you would have saw Saquon continue to work his ass off. The other teams beat the hell out of him because that's really all they had, and their quarterback wasn't doing S for them to pull the defenses off of Saquon. He would have probably kept getting injured, and you know what he would have did, Jonas? Retired early.
It would have taken him
like Barry Sanders.
Yep, and it would have taken him 2 years to accomplish what he did in Philly in 1 year, from a yard standpoint, from a production standpoint.
Yeah, you would have never had the comps. Like, it's crazy how that exposes the comp, right? Like, in terms of when a really, really gifted player goes to a wasteland of an organization and people are like, oh, he's a bust. You're a bust. You're a bust. He's a bust. You're a bust. You're just mad that you didn't have a great career. La, 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 la. Like, point is that more often than not, if you're as gifted and as talented as Saquon Barkley is, you're going to a crappy organization. You don't get to choose. So if this was like college and you get recruited and it's like, yeah, I'm going to take visits here, and here. I'm going to go play for this team. I'm going to go play for that team. Imagine if Saquon Barkley was able to choose what team he was going to play for, and he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs or he goes to the Baltimore Ravens. Like, that's not how it works. So you're at the expense of whatever organization is going to take you, like Cam Ward this year. Like, you got to go to a cellar dweller team, and on a bad team, you got to be the one that makes it better. I'm happy that for once, justice was served in the right way, where a guy gets out of a crappy situation and goes into an ideal situation, and it actually played out the way that it was supposed to play out. I'm loving the fact that Saquon Barkley represents the comp of what so many of us have had to deal with and have to live with in our lives, that he was able to show that it does indeed make a difference where you go and who you're playing for.